At the beginning of the story, we see a man named Leo who used to be an excellent boxing champion. But due to an injury, Leo had to give up boxing. Now, he has become an alcoholic, unemployed, and a man defeated by life. On his friend's suggestion, Leo arrives at a house in search of work. The maid of the house tells him, "Your friend must have told you about the job." Leo replies, "No." The maid then says, "All right," and takes him to the room of the lady of the house. In the room, a woman is lying on the bed. Her name is Muriel. She used to be a writer and, at one time, was a cheerful and free-spirited person. But now she is going through the most difficult phase of her life. A few years ago, Muriel was in a terrible car accident that left her so severely injured that she can no longer walk or even properly get out of bed. She spends her entire day lying in bed and needs help for even the smallest tasks. She lives in a beautiful house near the seaside, but her world has shrunk down to just one room. She feels like a burden, though somewhere deep inside her, a small desire to live life again still remains. Muriel asks Leo about him, where he lives, and whether he is married. Leo tells her, "I live nearby, alone, and I'm not married." Muriel then tells him, "You'll have to take care of me, change my clothes, clean my toilet, and do all the small chores as well." Leo agrees to the job. Then Muriel says, "This job is very hard, and no one wants to do it. Most people leave after a few days. So, why do you want to do it?" Leo replies, "Because I desperately need a job." Muriel asks, "Have you ever taken care of a sick person before?" Leo says, "No." Still, Muriel wants to give him a chance, so she hires him. However, Muriel doesn't trust that Leo will be able to take care of her. He's angry, unprofessional, and has no experience in household chores, while Muriel wants everything done properly. Muriel calls Leo over and asks him to place a table with a book on it above her bed. Muriel can't even lift her hands, so she reads using a stick held in her mouth. Then she asks Leo to cook for her. Leo goes to the kitchen and starts cooking. The maid tells Leo that this is the first time Muriel has hired a man to look after her. She says, "This is a woman's job. Only women should be doing this." But since Leo has no other job, he has to do it. At night, the maid takes Leo to Muriel's room and explains to him how to change her diaper and help her use the toilet. She warns him not to try anything inappropriate. Then she asks, "Do you think you can do this alone?" Leo agrees. The next morning, Leo wakes up late, which makes Muriel very angry. Leo apologizes to her, brushes her teeth, prepares breakfast, and feeds her. After that, Muriel tells him to open the window and clean the house. As she feels the breeze coming from the window, Muriel feels happy. A little later, she asks Leo to dial a number and then leave the room. But the call doesn't go through, which makes Muriel upset. In the afternoon, the maid arrives and asks Muriel how her day was. Leo is struggling with the work, but says nothing. Then the maid asks him to help hang the laundry on the terrace. While doing so, Leo asks about Muriel's condition. The maid explains that Muriel was on her way to a friend's house when the accident happened. She fell into a coma, and when she woke up, she discovered she was paralyzed. That's why she refused to go back to her husband and decided to live here instead. Muriel blames herself for her condition, which is why she doesn't want to meet her parents either. Earlier, she had tried to call her husband, but he has already ended the relationship. After finishing his work, Leo goes to a bar to drink. Troubled thoughts race through his mind. Since quitting boxing, Leo has become very lonely and depressed. He often drinks to forget his sorrows. The next day, Leo returns to work. He doesn't enjoy taking care of Muriel, but he has to do it for the money. The maid gives Leo some money and asks him to go to the market for groceries. While buying fish at the market, a girl tries to snatch Leo's purse, but he notices and the girl runs away. After shopping, when Leo returns home, he sees Muriel singing while her therapist is massaging her and singing along. Seeing Muriel happy makes Leo feel good. As he heads toward the kitchen, he glances at the bathroom and sees the maid injecting herself with something. She notices Leo watching. While Leo is preparing food in the kitchen, the maid tells him that she has experienced a lot of pain in her life and takes injections to cope with it. That night, Leo brings fish to Muriel for dinner. But Muriel gets angry and says, "Didn't the maid tell you I don't eat fish because it has bones? Go make something else." Leo says, "I've already removed the bones. Please trust me." Muriel decides to believe him, and Leo feeds her the fish. There are no bones, and Muriel enjoys the meal, which makes Leo feel good too. The next day, the maid tells Leo that Muriel used to be very happy before the accident. But ever since then, she's had to stay in bed all the time. Even to go outside, she has to sit in a wheelchair. But Muriel is afraid of sitting in the wheelchair, so she never goes out. The following day, Leo shows up late again. Muriel is furious. The night before, Leo had drunk too much, which made him oversleep. But he lies to Muriel, saying he was sick. Muriel immediately realizes that he is lying and warns him. If this happens again, I will fire you. She asks him to help the maid with her work. The maid gives Leo his payment and, seeing his condition, suggests he should see a doctor. But Leo says he's fine. After finishing the work, Leo buys a new pair of shoes and heads to his friend's boxing school, where his friend teaches boxing. Leo puts on the boxing gloves and vents his anger on the punching bag. The next day, when Leo comes to work, Muriel asks him, "Do you read books?" Leo replies, "No." Muriel then asks him to read a book for her. Leo begins reading to her while Muriel lies silently on the bed, listening. From then on, Leo reads to her daily, feeds her, changes her diapers, watches TV with her, and does all her chores. Slowly, Leo begins to notice the calmness in Muriel's nature and the deep pain hidden in her eyes. For the first time, he begins to feel someone else's pain. He no longer sits by her side just for the job, but to understand her. Gradually, he becomes a good caretaker for Muriel. Muriel, who initially didn't like Leo, starts enjoying his company. One day, when Leo visits his friend's boxing school, his friend tells someone to train a girl for an upcoming competition. Leo recognizes the girl. She's the same one who had tried to snatch his purse at the market that day. But he doesn't say anything to her and starts training her for the competition. The next day, Leo says to Muriel, "Come on, I'll take you upstairs for a little outing. I have a surprise for you." Muriel refuses at first, but after Leo insists, she agrees. He lifts her in his arms, takes her to the rooftop, and places her in a wheelchair. Muriel and Leo drink juice together. After so long, Muriel feels the fresh air outside and is overjoyed. Leo then asks her to close her eyes and takes out a small perfume bottle from a box. He places it near her nose and asks her to guess the scent. Muriel enjoys the surprise game a lot and thanks Leo. By now, the two have formed a deep friendship. The next day, Leo goes out with his friend, who then makes a bet with him. If the girl Leo is training wins the boxing match against another girl trained by his friend, Leo will receive $5,000. Leo goes and tells the girl about the deal. She agrees and apologizes to Leo for the purse-snatching incident. She explains that she was in a financially desperate situation. Leo forgives her. Later, Leo visits Muriel and reads a book to her. By now, Leo is no longer caring for Muriel just as part of a job. He understands her pain and never lets her feel alone. He takes her out in a wheelchair, and one day they go to a restaurant. Muriel asks Leo if he has a girlfriend. He says no. They start to learn more about each other. Later, Muriel buys a book from a friend, and Leo lovingly watches her from a bench. Muriel, too, is looking at him. Somewhere, they both have started liking each other, and a bond has begun to form between them. Leo brings Muriel back home. Now, Muriel keeps thinking about Leo and asks the maid questions about him because being with him makes her feel more alive than ever before. One night, when Leo is returning home after partying with the girl he trained, some goons start chasing them. They catch Leo and begin beating him. The girl has a gun with her and scares the goons away, but Leo ends up badly injured, with many wounds on his face. The girl takes Leo to his home and treats his injuries. The next day, Leo is unable to go to work, so he sends the girl to Muriel's house to inform them. When she arrives, she tells the maid that Leo won't be coming to work. The maid asks, "Just today or not ever again?" The girl replies, "He's bedridden, maybe won't come for a few days." The maid goes to Muriel, who is waiting for Leo. She tells her Leo won't be coming today. Hearing this, Muriel doesn't feel good. She tries to keep herself busy by reading a book, but her heart isn't in it. She starts missing Leo terribly. The next day, too, Muriel waits for him. But when he doesn't show up again, she realizes Leo has quit the job. In truth, Muriel had become accustomed to Leo. She liked when he fed her, read books to her. Now, in his absence, Muriel becomes very sad. Meanwhile, the girl stays with Leo at his house and takes care of him. A few days later, Leo comes to see Muriel. His face still bears the marks of injury. Muriel gets angry at him. Leo explains that he had gotten into a fight and couldn't come to work. He says it won't happen again, but Muriel is upset and fires him. Tears fill Muriel's eyes. Leo, now without work, becomes depressed. He keeps thinking about Muriel and spends his days drinking. To keep himself occupied, he continues training the girl. On the other hand, Muriel becomes extremely lonely and sad. When the maid brings her food, she refuses to eat. Seeing her in this state makes the maid feel awful. The next day, when Muriel wakes up, she finds Leo sleeping beside her. He had come in drunk the previous night and fallen asleep there. Muriel is shocked to see him but doesn't wake him up. After a while, Leo wakes up and can't figure out how he got there. Then he tells Muriel that he wants to work here again because it makes him feel good. But Muriel can't trust him. She's afraid he'll leave again. Leo promises her, saying, "I'll give up all my bad habits. I won't touch alcohol again." Muriel starts crying and tells him, "You don't know how much I missed you after you left." She adds, "I'm not like other normal women." She decides to give Leo one last chance. The maid tells Leo, "Next time, never hurt Muriel again." Leo feels deeply hurt hearing this. He takes Muriel outside in a wheelchair, and they have a lot of fun together. When they return, Leo tells the maid that he won't be able to come to work for the next 2 days because he has to attend his student's boxing match. When the maid tells Muriel about it, she asks the maid to buy a shirt for Leo. Seeing the shirt, Leo becomes very happy. The next day, Leo goes to the boxing match, where his student, the girl, competes against the student of his friend. It's an intense fight, but the girl wins. Leo's friend, honoring his promise, gives him $5,000. But Leo tells him to give the money to the girl and asks to borrow his car. His friend agrees. Leo takes Muriel out for a drive in the car. There, the two finally confess their love for each other and kiss. By finding each other, Muriel and Leo are able to heal from their past sorrows and learn to live again, together as each other's support. With that, the movie ends. If you were in Leo's place, would you be able to let go of your old bad habits? Do share your opinion in the comment section. Like and share the video, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel.